Hey guys, it's Miss Shoemake. So today we're going to do order of operations. So off to the side, I've already put down our steps. So remember, when you are looking at an expression with more than one operation, you have to use our steps. So B is for brackets, P is for parentheses, E is for exponents, and we do not do those in 5th grade. M is for multiply, D is divide, A add, and S is subtract. So remember, if you have multiply and divide in the same step or in the same expression, you always go from left to right. Okay, and we'll show an example of that in a second. Same thing with addition and subtraction. It's like they're best friends and they want whoever is closest to your left to go first. So you will go from left to right. Okay? So for example, if we had a problem like 15 minus parentheses 3 plus 4 times 2. Okay, so this is our expression. We have to go through our steps in order to solve. So if I was going to start, I would look at what my steps are. I'm going to cross out everything that's not there. So I do not have brackets. I'm going to cross that out. I do have parentheses. And since I do have that and it's at the top of my little building blocks, I'm going to circle it because that's where I'm going to start. I do have multiply. I do not have divide. I have addition and subtraction. So I'm going to start at my parentheses and do whatever's inside. So 3 plus 4 is 7. I'm going to cross it out, and you're going to bring everything else down to a new line. It's like a whole new expression. Okay, so I'm done with my parentheses, and I'm done with my addition. So I continue on my building blocks. So from my P, I look down, and the M for multiply is next. So I'm going to take 7 times 2. 7 times 2 is 14. I'm going to cross that step out, bring everything else down. I'm done with my multiply. Last thing to do is to subtract. So 15 minus 14 equals 1. Now when you do order of operations, it should look something like a pizza. Okay, your crust is always going to be your initial expression, and you're only having one pepperoni, and that pepperoni should be at the bottom where it's your answer. That's one example of order of operations. It had 3 different operations and parentheses included. Okay, let's try another example. Okay, so we're going to write our steps out. B, P, E, M, D, A, and S. Okay, so for this problem, let's try 4 plus 3 parentheses 8 minus 2 divided by 2. Okay, so this looks a little different. We're going to start the same way. We're going to go through our steps and cross out what we do not have. I do not have brackets. I do not have exponents. I do have parentheses, so I'm going to start there, circle it. I don't see multiplication. I have division, addition, subtraction, but there is multiplication here. So anytime you see a parentheses next to a number or a variable with no operation in between, it always means to multiply. Okay, so when that bracket is done or that parentheses is done, you're going to put a multiplication sign in between whatever answer you got in the parentheses and that other number. So let's get to working. I know I have to start with parentheses, so 8 minus 2. 8 minus 2 is 6. I'm going to bring everything else down. I'm done with what's inside of my parentheses, so I know that this parentheses here, I'm going to put my multiplication sign. My 3, 4, you build it the same way. Okay, done with parentheses. Now, I know I have M and D in the same line. I have multiply and divide in my problem. So I see which one's closer to my left side. So multiply is actually closest to the left side this time. So 6 times 3, or 3 times 6, is 18. Cross it out. bring everything else down. So I'm done with multiply. I can't skip to add or subtract, of which we're already done with subtract. Forgot to cross it out. So I have to do division next. So I'm going to divide 18 divided by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Cross out that step. Last thing to do is to add. Okay, so 9 plus 4. 9 plus 4 is 13. There's my pizza. So remember, anytime you have an expression and it does not have an operation next to a bracket or a parentheses, you are always going to multiply. Remember, we have to follow our steps: brackets, parentheses, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. These are like our building blocks, so you can't take something out from underneath. You have to start at the top and work your way to the bottom. All right, good job.